G'day ladies and gentlemen, Aussie Roadshow here. I've got another DVD and VHS update for you today. I've got a bit of a cold, so hopefully I don't cough and splutter throughout. And who gets a cold in the middle of summer anyway, but let's press on. So I've got a couple of new Aussie films that have come out recently from the 70s. This one called Wake in Fright has been digitally restored. There's a whole story about this film, the print being lost and whatever, but they ended up finding a decent enough print in Pittsburgh in the United States in the CBS vaults apparently. The story's in here, there's a little booklet and a story about how they found the print is in it. It took them 8 years to find a decent enough print. And it was thought to be lost, but yeah, they found it obviously. There's a few special features on here. Ted Kotcheff, the director, does a commentary. And it's been digitally restored. It looks absolutely beautiful. It's an incredible looking film. Expansive, it looks hot and dusty and it's set out in the outback. Not a film for those who are fans of kangaroos, because there is quite a few kangaroo killings in it. In addition to that, it's also worth watching just for Donald Pleasance's performance, because Donald Pleasance does what I would have to say the best Australian accent I've ever heard from a non-Australian. It's a very difficult accent to pull off accurately, but he does it perfectly. It's incredible. So definitely worth checking that out at least once. One of the films you should see before you die, in my opinion. Wake in Fright. Check it out. Next up, we have Journey Among Women. I have to be very careful. There's a lot of nudity on this cover. It's just a slip thing, it slips off and you take the thing out. Directed by Tom Cowan, released in '77 I think, and this has been on DVD in North America for several years. It's just come out on DVD here recently, like in the last few weeks, whatever. It's a 2-disc edition with special features and whatnot. That cover there is a brief moment from the film, and that was the cover they also used for the VHS on Sim Home Video years ago. That's the back of it. I have to cover the pictures, I'm sorry about that. The print's not too crash hot, but anyway, there it is, Journey Among Women. Check it out. Some of the tribal imagery from this film is said to have influenced heavily the Mad Max films, particularly Part 3. And I'm inclined to agree with that. When you see this film and see all that tribal imagery, you think, yep, that's a bit of a rip-off there. Well, I picked up this really cheaply. BMX Bandits from 1983, directed by Brian Trenchard Smith. This was about $5 at JB. And look, Nicole Kidman is in one of her early roles. In fact, I think it's the first feature film she did. So, definitely worth a look. Another cheapie, Gummo. I really liked this film from the 90s. It's set in a town in the middle America that had been devastated by a tornado several years earlier. And it's just full of all these dysfunctional, ugly, weird characters. I like Gummo. Good film. Also picked up the Three Colours trilogy, which is Krzysztof Kieślowski's last 3 films, of course. It's French films. To buy these separately, they're like $20 each, but the box set here is like about 30, so obviously it makes sense to get this one. But you've got Rouge, Bleu and Blanc. And it's the special edition versions as well, which is good, because normally they're bare bones, these ones, but that is worth the money. Also picked up the films of Alejandro Jodorowsky. He's a Mexican filmmaker. And I know that Wake in Fright is a film that you've got to see before you die, but so is El Topo. It started the whole midnight movie craze from way back when. Now this is an exact replica of the British release. It's not the same as the US, which I believe is 5 discs, whereas this is the 6-disc one. But it's not cheap. And I've seen copies of this like for £100, the British version, but this is obviously just the Aussie version, released by Siren Visual. But yeah, great collection to get, and you can still pick it up in store, but look, you'd want to get around to it sooner rather than later, I can tell you that. So they're the films, and they're the soundtracks to El Topo and The Holy Mountain. I haven't seen The Holy Mountain yet, and original script excerpts, most of which are in Spanish, but there's a bit of English at the end. I don't know if anyone's seen this, the Grindhouse Death Proof Planet Terror thing, but this Aussie release is fantastic. Now I presume this is getting released elsewhere, I have no idea. But have a look at this. It comes in like a film canister with, oh, not much on the back, but that's that. So you open it up, and we've got this shit in there. The Velcro, and then it folds out. Death Proof Disc 1 and Disc 2, Planet Terror Disc 1 and Disc 2. That is one of the coolest releases I've ever seen released in this country. So It's about $30 or something, so it's not too bad. And I only saw this at JB, but I went back about a week later and all of the copies I had were gone. So it's kind of like one you'd have to pick up sooner rather than later, I can assure you that. Mind you, that is not very practical to store. It's heavy and bulky. I'm kind of glad I held off on buying Pulp Fiction on DVD because they've just released it in this collector's briefcase thing, and it took me a little while, quite a few minutes to work out how to open the bastard, but it's kind of like this, I think. Yeah, like that. It's got like a goddamn poster thing, a booklet, and the 2 discs. It's pretty cool. Okay, so that's all the DVDs. Let's have a look at some old VHS. Picked up Conquest, the original VCL release of Fulci film. I got this on DVD, but I was happy to find this old VHS as well in an original box with a VCL imprint. That's pretty cool. Oh, another CBS box of No Safe Haven. I love getting their R-rated titles because, I don't know, I just prefer to watch R-rated movies. That's nice. $1 for that one, I think. The Soldier. This is a Thorn EMI, and this one is quite rare. Quite a rare title, this one, to find. In the original box too. Another Thorn EMI release of Don't Look Now. This is a little bit smashed up, but the reason why I wanted to show that is because that's got an X rating on it. That's the British rating. It's not our rating at all. We didn't have an X rating until 1984, and this was released in 82, I think, 83, something like that. Well, some people have asked me, where did I get the old MEDA label from? I got it from this, The Day of the Triffids, on the old MEDA label here, which was released here. They're obviously PAL format, and that's just The Day of the Triffids in a slipcase. Slipcases are not altogether common. They were mainly clamshell releases here, but that was released by, as you can see, Video Classics, and that's a list of all the early titles that they released. Oracle. I haven't seen this film, I just picked it up. Again, another original box from a Delta release thing. Oh, this looks like a piece of shit. Now check this out, like the writing, black writing on black background. What the fuck? You can't read it. Picked up this preview tape of Caballero releases, all these X-rated films that were released. Fuck. Why not, you know? It's new. It's not experimental, nothing. Thought that was a nice little collector's item. Got some new Video Classics gold tapes. And firstly, Bloody Birthday. Man, this film was a piece of shit. That's an original cover, at least. And this thing here, called Celebrity. I don't know if this was a TV miniseries or what. Part 1 and Part 2. Again, original boxes. Whoop, fell over. It's a 4.5 hour commitment, that one. Fucking hell. And lastly, a bit of a VHS spotlight. I dragged out the Boogeyman from Sim Home Video and the Boogeyman 2. So they've been in storage for ages. And finally, before I head off, I just wanted to point out that there are a couple of updates coming up on certain VHS labels that I have that are not horror related, so they're coming up in the next few weeks.